So folks, if this isn't enough color for you, I don't know what we're going to do because it just doesn't get much better than this. What you're looking at is, of course, a lot of you recognize this, I'm sure already, is Bougainvillea. And we're in front of a home in Sunnyside, right across the street from Reardon High School, and just real close to the college. And what you're looking at are we have two Bougainvillea here. We can sort of two for the price of one. I'm gonna step out here for a second. There's Reardon, and so if you guys want to come over here and glance at this yourself, you're welcome to. But this woman lives here, a couple that have entertained us here. My classes, we come here in the fall to look at some of these other plants that some of you from fall semester probably recognize. But anyway, we're here to look at the Bougainvillea, which is a beautiful big broadleaf evergreen shrub, really. It's sold in the vine section, and it's usually trained up as a vine on a stake when they sell it, and then perhaps on some sort of a frame or some kind of an arbor or structure when it's grown. But you guys can see here really the nature of this plant. You see these vigorous shoots reaching out, and left to its own devices, this is just a huge sprawling shrub. It's subtropical / subtropical in nature. San Francisco is about as chilly as this thing will survive in. We can from here south, it does real. Of course, you see them in Marin too, right? And some of those kind of mild pockets that we find, but really we see more of these as we go further south. And native to the eastern side of sort of eastern South America, mostly Brazil, but down into Argentina as well. And so, if you want to just give Brazil or Brazil / Argentina for your origin on this, that'd be great. But broadleaf evergreen shrub. And if you want to put /vine, that's fine, but it is not self-supporting like many vines, and really it's a shrub by nature. Again, where we place it is important here in San Francisco, because on a south face like we have here, great. Eastern facing exposure, pretty good. But if we get it into the western side, in that wind, it gets a little bit problematic. So let me get us close in here. Again, you can see that the colorful part of this blossom really, the sort of the venation on it is reminiscent of a leaf, and that's because it is a leaf. It's a specialized leaf we call a bract. And the true flowers are these three little things in the center, and the bract is what lends the color to these plants. So that's a little different. The family is the Nyctaginaceae. That's with a Y. You guys can see that in the list in the module. What we don't have in the module is the light and the water, and really full sun is where we want these. These are sun lovers. Don't waste your garden space or your time trying to make these perform well in the shade. I mean, what these are about are the flowers, and nothing against the leaves, but really it's the flowers are why we grow this, and it's not going to do well unless it has good full sun exposure. It doesn't have to be south facing, but you're not going to hide it under anything or shaded by anything. And then water, to establish this, pretty much moderate to regular water, but really once this is established, only a little bit. Or you can, in our climate, you can pretty much turn the water off altogether, and it'll sort of find its way. These are awfully big and vigorous, and sometimes we just need to throttle them a little bit by restricting the water. By the way, there's a lot of mythology with regard to planting these. they're supposed to have very, very sensitive roots that if you disturb them when you plant them, they'll die. Well, really, if it's just well hydrated before we plant, and we slide it out of the container carefully, there shouldn't be any problem. Some people say, oh, you should just cut the bottom out of the container and plant it still in the container. I don't recommend that. I won't go here into all the reasons for that, but if you just handle it with a modicum of care, you shouldn't have any problem planting it. So just make sure it's well watered on the day that you plant it. That's really important, and it should be okay. Anyway, these will get big. I was having a conversation with Tanny, the woman that lives in this house, and I told her there's some places around the state, a little south of here, where this plant would grow. It would basically envelop the house, and that's not far off the truth. I mean, they really do get big. Now, we're treating this semester as we're not identifying a species. There are a handful of species plants that are used in the garden, and I believe the one that we're looking at with the purple foliage up above, if I'm not mistaken, that is one of them. It looks a lot like Spectabilis, which is one of the species. But the vast majority of these are named cultivars. I think the one below looks a lot like Barbara Karst, which is very popular. There's another one, San Diego Red, extremely popular, but there's a long list of these. White ones, orange ones, quite a variety, pink ones. Now, a lot of the lighter colors are newer varieties. They don't grow as vigorously. And so you want to look into, do a little research on the cultivar you buy before you place it, because some of them have more vigor than others. Some of them, sort of different blooming characteristics and the like. So it's worth it. Understand that there is a little difference between the cultivars, and you'll want to look into those before you plant. But anyway, these are mostly cultivated varieties that we see. All right, wonderful plant. One thing you should know is that most of these, not all, but most of these have really nasty thorns. I mean, just they'll shred themselves if you don't put these in. Let me see if I can grab this, give you an idea without killing myself. If you guys can see those thorns. I mean, they're all up and down here, right, at each node. And when you're establishing these plants, you'll want to restrain them and, sort of hold them in place against the frame or whatever you train them on. Because if you allow these young, vigorous shoots to sort of whip about in the wind, they'll just shred themselves. It's and not look real good. So and then of course you want to be careful with your prunes. So anyway, be aware of the thorns. They are usually present and can be really nasty. So all right, I think that's about all I have on this. There's more to know about the Bougainvillea. They're interesting plants, beautiful plants, and we use them widely, but I think that's it for now.